Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Wilton and I'm a nature and travel photographer from the mid-north coast of New South Wales, Australia. I think the thing that inspired my passion for wildlife was just growing up in nature and being surrounded by wildlife and camping, fishing and then diving. The photography side of things came from just being over in Western Australia at a place called the Ningaloo Reef, where I worked in tourism and as a nature guide. That sort of naturally developed into photography to capture the moments I was experiencing and to share that with the world. Just a love for wildlife and nature. I hope that they get out and experience it for themselves, because I've been so fortunate in my life to have so many amazing encounters with wildlife and go to so many incredible places. Not many people get the opportunity to do that or have the willingness to do it. So I hope that my photography can inspire them to get out and see these amazing animals and these amazing places for themselves. And then hopefully down the line want to protect them. In terms of Australian wildlife, I was recently up in far north Queensland where I was lucky enough to find a freshwater stream that had platypus living on it. And platypus are pretty rare to see already because they're very shy and elusive, and they come out generally like only dawn and dusk, so you have to get up very early or stay up quite late to see them. And to find one on a creek that is crystal clear is one thing, and then to be able to find one that's comfortable with you to be in the water with it is another. I was so lucky to have this encounter this one day where I was just scouting a location for a landscape photography shoot, and then as I was walking away I looked and a platypus popped up, and I just happened to have my mask and snorkel in the car. I slid in the water really quietly. This platypus come right up to me and was swimming around and foraging underwater with me just right there observing it. And it's one of the most crazy and rare encounters I think I'll ever have in my life. A simple practice that I do is just to choose certified ecotourism operators to ensure that you have the best guidelines in place and you're protecting the wildlife that you're out there observing. I think the thing that makes Ecopia so special is the fact that you're so immersed in nature. Being a small retreat on a conservation property means you're away from people, you're out in the bush and you're surrounded by wildlife, like literally walking up onto your doorstep. So you can walk out onto your deck and see an echidna, a kangaroo, and then turn your head and there's a koala up in the tree right next to you. So I think the fact that you're surrounded by so many rare and special animals that we have here in Australia, it really separates it from anywhere else here. I think the three people that I'd like to bring to Ecopia for a wildlife retreat would be David Attenborough, so he could share stories and narrate the whole experience. Paul Nicklin, the photographer, so he could teach me his ways. And I think Gordon Ramsay, so he can cook us mad feeds out in the deck. One of the projects I'm currently involved in is a sea turtle conservation program over in Papua New Guinea called the Conflict Islands Conservation Initiative. And it's a program that's turned poachers into conservation rangers who oversee the protection of the nesting sea turtle population and the hatchlings. And my role in the program is to volunteer my skills as a photographer to help document and capture the amazing work that they're doing over there. They're a purely donation-funded organisation, so with my work I can head over there, lend my skills and help them get their message out there and hopefully get more funding to keep the amazing work they're doing, because they've actually found that the sea turtle populations over in Papua New Guinea there are Australian sea turtles from the Great Barrier Reef. So it's vital that their message gets out there and they can protect our sea turtles. I think for me personally, it's easy to stay inspired because I love wildlife and I love what I do. But it does get challenging sometimes when you're working commercially over a long period of time to find the motivation and the creativity in your work. So for me, the biggest thing is just to reset and go out in nature and enjoy nature for what it is. And then naturally your inspiration will come from that. I think the biggest tip for aspiring wildlife photographers is just to make sure you photograph what you love. I love photographing any wildlife, especially underwater. And I think that shows through in my work. So it's easy to get caught up in the crazy world that's social media and to try and do what you think other people expect you to do. I think the biggest advice I can give anybody who wants to get into wildlife photography is to just do it for the love of it and photograph what you want to photograph and follow your passion.